our market consists of people acquiring or carrying secondary mortgages, third mortgages, private lending, Mickey Mouse lending, monkey business lending, like all kinds of stuff. All right, folks, so it is getting pretty serious. 37,121 Canadian filed for insolvency in the first quarter of 2026. This is extremely concerning. It is worse than 2008 and 9. So let's give a little bit more data here. So every 17th Canadian hitting a financial debt every single hour. Every time the clock strikes the new hour, 17 more households surrender. So let's think about this for a second, right? Like, we know what happened during the peak in the pandemic. Money was cheap. Everybody was out there to make it big and large. Unfortunately, the tie or the system turned around and now they're holding all of that debt. Most of Canadians cannot survive, right? And it's not only mortgages, right? Like, we're talking about everything here. Like, we're talking about households, we're talking about cars. Like, most people forget quickly that many Canadians changed their vehicles. They bought new cars. They extended on their financing, right? Like, I spoke to many people and they said, like, look, like, in order to make my payment cheaper, I extended my financial years, right? Like 5 years to 7 years. Some even extended to 9 years. So think about it for a second. What is that vehicle going to be worth it at the end of the day when they actually sell it, right? So most of the time, next to nothing. And we're talking about more than 1 million Canadians renewing their mortgages. So you see how everything piles up at the same time. And I want to touch back to realtors, mortgage brokers, people in the industry, people just trying to create some type of a news, right? Or create some type of a hype, right? And they're trying to I'm not gonna say market, but they're trying to pinpoint, that's the word, the bottom of the market. Just stop. Like, it's not gonna happen. Like, you cannot time or exactly pinpoint the bottom of a market, right? You can have an idea, maybe you can have a sense where it's going, but to pinpoint exactly that this is the best time to buy, like, it's ludicrous. Like, that doesn't work. It just doesn't work. At one point, we will see eventually that market will hit the bottom, and we will only know when the bottom is gone because we can go back and we can calculate. However, in my experience, the best indicator is when people feel the need again, when people have the money, when people have the chance or the feeling or the will to invest and to move. So how is this possible? It is fairly simple. When they feel that their income can support the debt ratio that they're carrying, right? So that's one version. The other version is that money is becoming so cheap that their current income can allow to carry all of that burden or debt, right? And we have seen that through pandemic. So there are a couple of vehicles that the economy can introduce to consumers, buyers, or citizens. So at this point, I don't think we have none of that, right? Like, they're holding rates for a few consecutive quarters now, but interest rates are probably rise. So whenever we see interest rates rise, and then you have the public, like, you have words on the street literally saying it, in your face, properties are too much money. It's just too much. And I had a conversation with my neighbor, and we spoke, and I said, well, it's 25% probably on average since the peak. And he said, well, great. So we got back to pre-pandemic numbers. Do you agree? I said, well, yeah. And you know what he said? Well, even those numbers were too high. So I sat down, and that made me think. I said, well, it does make sense. If I really think about that for a second, even in 2019, prices were out to lunch. They were nuts, right? So never mind. So okay, so we shaved the peak now, and now we're back to pre-pandemic numbers. So what happens now? So by any logic, if we're balancing our income sheet, prices still have to come down from the pre-pandemic numbers in order for numbers to make sense, right? So that's something. It's just like I call this insolvencies, and bank-owned properties gonna go through the roof, and there's so much more to untangle. That's the word. Like it's so tangled right now. It's a knot on top of a knot, and most people don't realize it. Some people don't even think about that because they have one mortgage. They're dealing with one particular item, but our market consists of people acquiring or carrying secondary mortgages, third mortgages, private lending, Mickey Mouse lending, monkey business lending, like all kinds of stuff, right? So when you bundle it all up, like it's not a linear market or a linear common sense calculation that you and I can say, well, this is it. So therefore, the market, our current situation in the market, will see, I would say, a more negative numbers than we can even predict. And this is just my, well, obviously my personal opinion, but so far, I made it work. I mean, some of these little predictions came true, right? And how? Because you look at numbers, you look at graphs, you look at the word on the street, and you just summarize everything, and you realize, hey, it's not what the title says or what the mainstream media is pushing. I get it. They're trying to hold it by a thread, but majority of segments, it's dead. Everything is dead. Most of it is dead. Condos are dead. Pre-builds are dead. New builds are dead. New buyers are dead. So who's left? Where's the money? So if you summarize it, there's really no money. Like not everyone will wake up tomorrow and go into more debt because even the mechanism is not allowing it anymore. They want their returns now. You get it? Like you have to pay to play. And that is called interest. You have to pay the loan plus interest. All right, so I hope you gained some value out of this video. Please like, share, and I'll see you in the next one.